So Tesla has one party trick. A Model 3 has one party trick, and it has it all the time.
Oh, wow.
And so that acceleration with the electric motors is always there. And so when you're on a road, you know, it's really useful for overtaking. It's also really, every gap's a Tesla gap, I say, you know, like every gap in the traffic is something that you can easily fit into. And in some ways I think that's safe, but in other ways I've found people aren't expecting it. So if you're merging and you see a spot up front and you accelerate, somebody could actually move over in front of you in the time that you've already accelerated into the same spot.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that was off the mark in the wet too. So would it have factored in the slippery road?
yep. And so even in the rain, with that, I can give it enough accelerator, and because of the traction control, it doesn't slip, you know. I think the dual motors on this is quick. The Performance, which is the next model up from this, does 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds. This one does it in 4 seconds, or just over 4 seconds now. And you can buy an acceleration upgrade as well that takes you even faster.
Tony, talk us through some of the other costs. So you did explain to us, you know, the recharging and the costs associated with that. What about the upfront cost? Do you mind me asking? What did it set you back?
Yeah, so I think the list price is in the order of 87,000 on the website, and then by the time you put on stamp duty and registration and on-road costs, it ended up being 93,000 on the road.
On the road.
So they're not cheap. They're not cheap at all.
I guess not. But any haggling? Can you make them move at all?
No,
Tesla?
no. Tesla is a bit like Apple in that you only there's one price, and that price is the same for everybody.
Okay.
So.
And what about servicing? I mean, I know there's not servicing in the traditional sense, but did Tesla want you to take the car back to them at all?
They suggest you do it once every 2 years or so, but there's no set servicing on this car. Basically, there is no real servicing on one of these cars because there's so little mechanical components to the car. Obviously, the electric motors and the drivetrain, but they're separate front and back. You'll notice there's no differential and tail shaft tunnel all the way through the car.
No, there's not.
Yeah, and so the lack of servicing in this is a big selling point for me. I didn't have to keep paying every 6 months or so. It's just take it in. The thing that they usually do is replace the air filter. They might look or rotate your tyres, but that's about it.
Okay. Do they have a logbook or a checklist they work off as such or not?
Oh,
no.
actually, yes, sorry. They do. That checklist is in the manual, and they publish that so you can do all your own servicing as well. So the idea, I think, that Tesla brought out is that basically you have the right to repair this or service it as you see fit.
Did you get a warranty with the Tesla?
Yeah, so the standard warranty on the car, I think it's 4 years and 80,000 kilometres, if I remember rightly. And the drivetrain, I think, and the batteries are 8 years or 500,000. Now we're on this road, and this road's a bit windy, but I'll put on autopilot, so now the car is driving itself, and legally I've got to have my hand on the wheel.
Okay.
But the car is now doing its own steering. It'll detect that vehicle there.
You're controlling the throttle?
No, it's doing everything.
Oh, so you set your speed?
I've set it to speed to the speed limit, and so now as it's going down, it'll hold that speed, it'll regen. It's saying, see, apply slight turning pressure to the wheel, but that's all doing it by itself now. So now this is a bit of a windy road. I'm not entirely convinced about how well it corners on really tight corners, but it slowed us down a little bit on that last one.
Does it? I guess it does see the corner coming.
It sees about 300 to 400 metres in front of it, so You know, obviously coming up to a T intersection, I wouldn't trust it to go through a T intersection by itself. But yeah, even that was a Tesla gap. You know, that was something you could easily get into. But I think the other thing is you've got to be careful of not being an arrogant driver on the road as well when you have something like this. The car, when you buy it, comes with premium connectivity, and that means that it's connected to 4G network or a cellular network the whole time. After 12 months, you've got to pay for that separately, but that gives you access to YouTube, Spotify, the live traffic, all of that sort of stuff that you wouldn't normally get access to otherwise.
And what's the cost for that one?
I think it's $9 a month.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And that uses the standard mobile network in Australia, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Tony, can we talk safety? Is the Tesla a safe car in your opinion? You know, I think about lithium batteries and the potential for explosiveness. You know, is it explosive? Is it a safe car? What rating does it get?
It's a 5-star ANCAP. It's actually one of the safest cars on the road for a number of reasons. There's a lot of concern about batteries and fires. There's more fires in ICE vehicles, petrol vehicles, than there are in any electric vehicles. There has been a couple of electric vehicles caught fire, mostly because of charging, but I haven't seen that in a Tesla. In terms of safety, the thing about this car is because you've got no motor up front, you've got a much bigger crumple zone. The crumple zone goes all the way back, but also then in terms of passive safety, you've got airbags all the way around. The roof itself, even though it's glass, is much stronger than a metal roof. You can sit 3 elephants on it apparently, and it won't break. And then after the passive safety, you've got the active safety, and that's traction control, which most cars have, ABS, etc. But also the software. This car has 5 cameras around it running all the time. And if a car moves into your lane, the car will tell you and it will move. It will apply emergency steering. It will tell you it's going to do it. If a car stops in front of you, the car will warn you there's a car stopping in front of you, or even the car in front of that. Because it's got a radar in the front, it can actually bounce that radar under the car immediately in front of you and see the car in front as well. That's impressive. So in terms of safety, in the US, they have a report around accidents per 100,000 kilometres. Tesla Model 3s, with all of the safety working and it driving itself, there's 1 crash every 3.5 million kilometres. The average in the US is 1 crash every 300,000 kilometres. So with all of that active safety, and if you're using its autopilot or even its full self-driving features, it's really, really safe. Even when you're driving yourself, it's still about 1 incident every 1.5 million kilometres. So,
great. It sounds like a very safe car.
Yeah.
Now that moves on to my next question, the autonomous driving.
Yes.
So I did give that a whirl.
Yes.
It has made the press, a couple of people crashing,
yes,
having that on and not paying attention.
Yes.
So the recommendation from Tesla is you still need to be paying attention, don't you?
It is full self-driving and it is autonomous, but in Australia, you'll legally have to be in control of the vehicle. And the way Tesla does this is you've got to have the hand on the steering wheel and applying pressure. If you don't, after about 30 seconds, it will say, please apply pressure. If you don't, the car will eventually slow down and pull off the road. So if you fell asleep at the wheel in 30 seconds, the car will stop and pull off. But, it is really great having the in this car, I don't have full self-driving. I just have the autopilot or auto steer, but it's so great on the highway, and it really makes for relaxing driving. You just click it on, the car follows the road, and you've got one hand resting on the wheel, and you can look around, see what's going on, and it's not anywhere near as tiring.
Yeah, I did. When we took the Model S for a drive, we had it on. It did get confused over train tracks.
Oh, okay.
That threw it.
Yeah.
Because I guess it didn't have the lines to follow.
So it will only work where there's a centre line. If there's no centre line, it will either not let you engage it, or it'll tell you to take control if it is on.
That's what it did, yeah. It told you to take back control. And we're going over a couple of lines of train tracks.
Yeah. I tend to use it mostly on the major roads, whether they're 60k or 100k, but on suburban streets, it's okay, but I'd rather, the things happen too quickly. I'd rather be in control then. And I enjoy driving, so I want to drive it.
Have you had any issues at all across the board with the Tesla?
The only thing, I had a rock stuck in the brake caliper that made a clicking noise, and mobile service came out to fix that. I got a crack in the windscreen driving back from Townsville. A rock came up from a four-wheel drive, and I had to get the windscreen replaced. And that was all done under insurance. The only other issues, there's a couple of minor paint defects, which I noticed, and a panel gap that I got them to realign, which they did well under warranty.
Tesla sorted that out for you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, these American-built cars, I don't think quite have the same build quality as the Japanese and Korean-built cars. The new made-in-China ones are just coming out now, and they seem to have better build quality. And yeah, we'll see. Germany's starting manufacture soon too.
All right. Now, I know the Model 3, I guess, was Tesla's attempt at becoming more mainstream.
Yep.
So the sticker price is still fairly high,
Yep.
Out of reach of a lot of people. But it's 92,000, wasn't it, on road?
93, yeah.
93. Would you say it was money well spent?
Yeah, I asked myself that, and my wife asked me a lot too. I think, for the technology you buy, for the running costs, which are fairly minimal, obviously cost to charge it, and but no servicing costs per se, I think it's pretty worthwhile. And I'll be interested over a 5-year period whether it comes out equivalent to like a Toyota Camry or something along those lines, which some people suggest it does.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Toyota Camry, but I think, this really needs to be compared to a more premium car, a BMW, or from the likes of Mercedes as well. So I think, when you're talking those brands, the pricing becomes a lot more attractive. And, I was certainly impressed with the drive today.
Yeah. No.
So in terms of, give us three key items that you would say encourage people to buy a Tesla, to make that leap into a Tesla.
Yeah, for me, not having to worry about the petrol price as you drive past the service station, the technology in the car, and its safety are the three big things for me.
Yeah, and that go.
And that go.
That acceleration.
That acceleration that's always there, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, well, how about giving us a score out of 10?
Yeah, I thought a lot about this when I watched your other videos, and look, I wouldn't like to say it's perfect, but for me, I won't ever go away now from probably another Tesla or another electric vehicle, and it does everything that I expected. So I'd say it's, for me, an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10.
Right up there. Anything that could be improved upon?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. The car keeps improving. The software gets updated over the air, and so you don't have to wait much for those things you thought you might need, and for a lot of things you don't, like fart mode, for example.
Yeah.
But, I think it's continually improving. I haven't found anything that said, I wish it had this,
Cool. All right, Tony. Well, I've been thoroughly impressed. Thank you very much for your time today.
No problem.
And I'm sure our viewers got a lot out of it as well as I have. So thanks again.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in for another episode of Owner Drive. I really enjoyed the time with Tony today. The Tesla Model 3 is a car I had a lot of questions about, and I do feel that our viewers would as well. So I found today really informative. Tony's obviously a very happy owner, and he's made that leap into a Tesla. And I think today's review would certainly encourage other people to do so as well. So guys, if you found this useful, we can really do with your support. Please click like and subscribe, and don't forget that notification button as well. Until next time.